This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be speaking with Brian Jordan Alvarez about English teacher. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm great. Just growing my mustache. It's a journey, but we're in the middle of it right now. I'm about a week in.
All
That's my
right.
main work right now. How are you? Are you
Well,
in
I
New
want.
York?
I'm in New York currently, usually based in LA, but currently in New York. Yes.
Same, same.
I enjoyed this show very much. It's been a while since I watched it. My first question for you is, what kind of student were you?
What kind of student was I? I think I was a good student. I mean, I had the same personality. I was sort of a class clown-ish, but also like my parents were very insistent that we made A's, and so we did, which is so funny because I see kids sometimes and I'm like, wow, like I didn't even realize that my parents were just like they just made it not an option. I just had to get A's. So we were just held to a very high academic standard, but I'm always like looking back on it, I'm like, well, what were they gonna do if we didn't get A's? Like they did a really good job just making us believe like we have to get A's or else. So I ended up being a really good student. I would joke in high school with my mom that I was an A- student because I was like smart, but liked to, do a little less work than I should. And, I wasn't super into homework. I was pretty social. But yeah, I had a lot of personality in class and I tried to make people laugh. When you're a comedian, your high school classrooms are some of your first captive audiences.
Right. Well, I think watching the show, watch a little bit of it, you understand what it's about. But I was always curious about the title English teacher because I feel like the English part and teachers, yes, this is Evan's story, but there's also a few different teachers. What
Yeah.
is it about the English teacher that makes this the title?
I think the title is just it's my attempt at like a very dry title because I the show is like so, at best, it's so colorful and full of life and like, I don't know, not simple. So then I like this idea of just like a very simple title that tells you almost nothing. It's like you want to know about what this show's about, watch the show. And I think my sister was living in some country. I forgot which one, but she said like when you went to the store and there was a bag of flour, it would just say flour, and that's all it would say. And I kind of like that, like English teacher. It's just a show about an English teacher and all his friends and all the students and all the parents, but it's just English teacher. A lot of people call it the English teacher, which now I relate so much to the Eagles, who are actually not called the Eagles. They're just called Eagles. Did you know this? The band is just called Eagles.
I didn't, but this is one of my, I wouldn't say pet peeves, but things I always notice when we put like a the before something that it
Yeah.
just doesn't go there.
Yeah.
It's like he's not
Eagles.
the only one. It's not the English teacher. It's an English teacher.
Yeah,
It's
it's an. I
teacher.
should have called it an English teacher. Well, there was that. There are some shows with that. What's that kind of article called? Like A Teacher. There was that show on FX actually years ago.
True. Uh, what has the experience of, working behind the scenes on a show like this been like, and how has it surprised you?
For me, it's been great. It's like it's felt very natural. I have to be honest. I feel very comfortable on a set, just sort of like being like, let's point the camera that way. And I mean, what's great about something that's shot at this level, which to me is a high level for what I've done. It's like it's just like, wow, everyone is here to do a really good job at their job. So it's like, wow, that production design just looks amazing. And it's because we just have this great production designer, Kate Bunch. And this year we had this amazing DP, Christine Eng. And last year we had Brian Burgoyne. And it's just like, it's just you're guiding a ship, but really it's like a lot of really great artists that you've hired that are just that sort of read the script, get inspired, and then make something. And it's fun. I mean, for us, especially our set, because we do so much improv and punching up and just like just finding it in the scene. We're just like, we're laughing all day and we play music on set and stuff. It's cool.
You've done a great job of casting the faculty, and everyone's very funny, but I'm curious about your approach for the students and what you look for in those parts.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them came from TikTok. And they're not like, it's not like they're all like, 10 million followers or whatever on TikTok. It's more just like these, I'll be scrolling TikTok sometimes and I'll see somebody and I'm like, that is so funny. And then you're like, well, they could kind of work for this one role, and then you audition them. And some it's sort of like you never know if somebody who has sort of this charismatic personality online or whatever, like you don't really know if they're going to be able to do it, with written lines. But a lot of them can, and so we would just, we would find people that were really funny, and then we would like audition them, and we'd be like, yeah, that's exactly what we'd hoped that you would, how we hoped you would say it, and then you bring them in, and and we let people riff a lot, and we try to hire people who are funny anyway, because then they're kind of bringing their comedy to it. We have Aaliyah's interlude, Aaliyah Ba. I'm not sure which one she goes by, but she has this big pop career now. She was from TikTok, and we cast her when she was sort of in the process of blowing up, but she wasn't as big yet. And now she like has these songs that are so viral, and she's so funny on the show. And she's like, we let her like she has a lot to do with her costumes and hair and makeup and stuff. It's very like collaborative, and so you get these really real, these I don't know, these just cool people to do their thing, and it's like you're just so grateful to get to have them on the show. And we also have, Ben Bondurant came from TikTok, and but some kids we found just through the regular audition process. Savannah Gann, and Romy Mars is so talented, and Ivy Wolk. Yeah, a lot of stars.
What ideas do you have in mind for season two that you can share that will help guide us slightly without giving anything too much away?
Well, it's funny because last year when I would get asked this question, I'd be like, I don't know. But now, we season two is now in the can. We're wrapped and we're editing. So let's see. I'll try to tell you some of my favorite things in season two without spoiling anything. I can tell you that Linda, the mother, Linda, comes back, and so does Sharon, the other mom, and they're amazing as always. That we have an episode that addresses this sort of thing about kids using phones in class, and do you put the phones in a bin and collect the phones, and how do they feel about that, and like how much are students even writing by hand anymore? Are they really good at that anymore? So yeah, I really like that stuff. And yeah, the kids do a play. I can't give it away, but they do a really funny play. It's in the first episode back. Yeah, Evan is enlisted to direct the kids in this play, and then Gwen comes in to help, and Rick helps, and it's like it's a, of course it's sort of a disaster, but that's what's so good about it.
Maybe I don't know if I can ask this without, tempting spoilers, but I spoke to Jordan Firstman recently. I was
Oh,
like,
fun.
great conversation, but aren't you the villain of this show? He was like, no, I don't think so.
Of English
But
teacher?
yeah, aren't we supposed to be rooting for like this nice guy Harry and a good choice for like and but I think your response answers my question enough of my misreading perhaps of this. But is
I
that
don't think it's a
explored?
misreading. I think art is ambiguous, and to me, I'm always especially with the Harry Malcolm thing, it really has a variety of interpretations. So I'm more just like I love that interpretation. It's great. But Jordan
Said it
is
more nice. I said it more nicely. I didn't, accuse right away. It's always good to tell people like, I hate your character. Tell me why you don't, that kind of thing.
right. Well, that's what's funny. Sometimes people will have feedback where they're kind of like this, where they're like, yeah, we're supposed to not like this or that. And you're like, oh, I sort of didn't realize that. But uh, yeah. I can see what you mean, especially in season one, because he's sort of, yeah, he's being contrasted to this other sort of more maybe wholesome love interest. But yeah, who knows? But yeah, we do. I mean, I think no spoilers, but I think we can say, yeah, we do have Jordan back as Malcolm in season two, and we also have Daniel the waiter from season one, played by the very brilliant Jimmy Fowley, who's a writer on SNL and is like one of the great comedians of our time, in my opinion. We have him back as well, and it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's like staying with Malcolm, and he gets involved in the storyline, so it's great.
The next question is more theoretical, I suppose, or more food oriented, certainly. Is there a recipe written down for steak nuggets? Can you share it? And have you considered mailing them out to critics as an FYC strategy?
Oh, that's what you want. You want steak nuggets. I had not thought of this, but now I'm thinking of it. There is a recipe, I'm sure, because our props department made them and they were real, and I ate like 20 of them at the end of the night that we filmed with them. They were literally, yeah, whole chunks of steak, battered and deep fried, and they were delicious. I think some company now though has started doing something called steak nuggets. They're not breaded, so they're not the same as the ones in the show. But I was like, I wonder if they were inspired by this. I'm glad to be a culinary inspiration. That was steak nuggets. I think largely came from two great writers, Zach Dunn and Jake Bender, who are so talented and got nominated. I think they got nominated for the WGA award this year, and hopefully they get the Emmy nom too. Oh wait, I'm
I
not
do
supposed to
think
say that. Sorry, am I not supposed to say that?
no, we can wish for lots of good stuff.
Okay,
This is,
okay. There's that
yeah,
some rule about, yeah. Okay.
I think it's great. Yeah, I don't think you should mail the steak nuggets out, by the way. I was joking that they would probably turn bad and then people would boycott the show. Not good,
It
you
can be
know?
one of those hot pizza boxes, but yeah, it would have to be same day delivery. Yeah.
Well, now that season two is wrapped, what are you working on besides Mustache?
Just the mustache and season two. I mean, the edit is it's very full on. We have these amazing editors, and editing is really a process because some episodes come in amazing and other ones come in a way where you're like, we're really gonna have to work on this. And it's such an odd thing to be like, this is the episode, but it's not the episode yet. And it's like, we have to turn it into the thing it's going to be. And especially with our show is very particular about its editing. It's like, pretty fast a lot of the time, then it really slows down. And it's like a lot of the comedies in the editing. And that's why we're lucky to have these editors that really know what they're doing. But yeah, finding that is a process sometimes. There are some episodes where you really have to work on the edit, slowly and for days and days, and then you start cracking up. So yeah, English teacher. What else? Maybe I'll go to Europe a little bit, you know, relaxing. Right now I'm about to be on the Tribeca jury, which is exciting. I've never been on a film festival jury, so I'm about to watch 12 movies in the next whatever 6 days or something, which I feel like you relate to more than I relate to. I've never done
I
any.
certainly do. Yes, and I've done some Tribeca coverage so far, catching a few things there. So it's an exciting thing, but it's a whole different mindset, especially when you're, half hour comedy, different kind of thing.
I know. I'm just like, am I gonna be able to do this? Am I gonna be able to watch 12 2-hour movies? But it's like, I guess I'm gonna have to. So I think it'll be like a meditation, maybe a meditation on art. But I'm excited. I bet it'll be great.
Well, what have you seen on TV lately that you like?
I mean, I loved White Lotus, my God. And we were at the Gotham Awards last night, and so many of them were there, and it was just so cool to see, Sam Rockwell and Leslie Bibb and Carrie Coon. And yeah, I think White Lotus is maybe the last thing I watched all the way through. I love the rehearsal. I mean, Nathan Fielder, like props, what a genius. I used to watch Love is Blind all the time religiously. I think I finally am cooling down because now you watch it and you're like, okay, it's another season of Love is Blind. It's another cast of characters. But did you ever get into Love is Blind? It's very addictive.
Not, no, I mostly stick to scripted. I hear a lot
Oh,
of enthusiasm for other stuff, but not my focus.
not your cup of tea. Yeah. Cool.
But I do appreciate the chance to talk with you. I'm excited to hear what's next for Steak Nuggets, for the redemption of Malcolm as the hero of the story, and to see more adventures of this English teacher and
This,
whatever is
yeah,
happening.
this, comma, an English teacher. This man, comma, an
Very,
English teacher. Yeah. Well, great to meet you. I really appreciate it.